Good morning, Chasm listeners. This is Megan Herbst, Conservation Planner with the Stearns Conservation District with your Conservation Report for Saturday, January 11th. The first thing I want to talk about this morning is the Women in Ag Conference, which is going to be held Tuesday, February 11th at the Park Event Center in Waite Park. The conference is a one-day event. It's open to all women in agriculture, so not just farmers. If you support a farm family or if you're in the ag industry, this is open for you as well. The conference is one day, February 11th, like I said, from 8:45 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. And this year's theme is Farming Your Way, Finding Your Balance, which will reflect how every farm and role is unique and that finding your place means discovering the balance that works best for you, your farm, your family, and your goals. The conference will also help you explore and define what agriculture means to you, finding ways to navigate your family and the operation and making your distinct mark in agriculture. This conference will focus on farm business management and production, and it will include topics such as farm finances, healthy soils, pasture management, balancing it all, integration of crops and livestock, and also include some talks about childcare planning and business planning. There'll be some information on MDA grant information, also egg product marketing, and managing a social presence. The conference, again, open to all women in agriculture, whether they farm or not. You can register now through January 27th for the early bird registration rate of $85 for adults or $55 for students. Again, that's the 2025 Women in Ag Conference taking place Tuesday, February 11th at the Park Event Center in Waite Park. The second thing I want to talk about is the upcoming recertification course for custom manure applicators, or more properly known, commercial animal waste technicians. That workshop is taking place in Sauk Centre on Tuesday, January 28th at 9 a.m., and that's going to be held at the Sauk River Watershed District's conference room in Sauk Centre. This is the required course needed for recertification if you're a commercial manure technician, so please plan to attend. You can contact me, Megan, with the Stearns Conservation District at 320-345-6489 for more information. You should be receiving a postcard in the mail with more information. Again, if you are a commercial animal waste technician, that workshop is happening Tuesday, January 28th at 9 a.m. in Sauk Centre. Finally, I want to discuss some tips for smart salting. So snow and ice, they've arrived in Minnesota. It's January after all, and that brings the winter chore of clearing pavement, and sometimes we use salt for that. But when the snow melts or it rains, the salt, which contains chloride, runs into storm drains and into nearby lakes, rivers, and groundwater. Salt is commonly overapplied and sends way too much chloride into our waterways, wreaking havoc for fish and other wildlife. But Minnesotans, they can stay safe while doing their part this winter by minimizing salt use and using other tools to get the job done. It only takes 1 teaspoon of salt to permanently pollute 5 gallons of water. So that's right. Once the chloride is in our water, it's there for good, continues to build up year after year, and chloride from de-icing salt is one of the largest contributors to a growing salty water problem in Minnesota, and is one of 2 pollutants that continue to accumulate over time with no practical mechanism for removal in the environment. And though no environmentally safe alternatives to de-icing are available, smart salting strategies that don't compromise on safety can help us to reduce the chloride pollution in Minnesota waters. First, remove as much snow and ice as you can before you salt so that less salt is needed. Secondly, if it's colder than 15 degrees, it's too cold for salt, and most salts, they stop working at this temperature. So use sand instead for traction, but remember that sand does not melt ice. And third, use the right amount of salt. That crunch that we hear under our feet on the sidewalk doesn't mean that it's safe. People often think that more salt means more safety, but that's not always right. You only need about 12 ounces, roughly a coffee mug full, to treat 20 feet of driveway or 10 sidewalk squares. So aim to apply salt evenly, maybe use a spreader, and only use it in critical areas. Using anything more than that is just simply a waste, and it's costing you money. Finally, you can sweep up any visible salt that you see on dry surfaces. There's nothing left for it to melt, so let's remove it and dispose of it properly. But there are many ways to provide, safe winter conditions and minimize impacts to the environment. The Minnesota Pollution Control Agency offers smart salting trainings for winter maintenance professionals, property managers, and others on how to provide safe surfaces in winter and minimize harmful environmental impacts. Those who hire professionals to manage snow and ice removal in the winter should hire a trained and certified smart salting contractor, and that MPCA list of certified smart salters can be found on the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency's website, smart salting training website, that is. And that's all for me today. If you've got any questions about getting conservation on the ground, please call the Stearns Conservation District at 320-251-7800 extension 3. This has been Megan Herbst with the Stearns Conservation District with your Conservation Report.